Hi there. I am Emily Kennedy. Welcome to the Geometry Open House meeting. And some of you may have heard from your children, Miss Kennedy's really weird and she has these puppets every day. So they're right. I am weird and I do have puppets every day. There has been some disagreement as to whether this is a chameleon or an iguana, but I think I've landed on Team Chameleon. So that's how we start class every day, just like normal people. I sincerely apologize that I can't be there live with you right now for open house. I have decided to take a class myself for the gifted endorsement. And as luck would have it, we meet on Thursday evenings. And so I'm really sorry. I'll give you ways that you can send me questions and I'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible. But at this very moment, if you're watching this on Thursday night, then I am currently sitting at my kitchen table in front of my laptop, being a student, which I haven't done in a while, I suppose. So what I want to do is basically just talk you through the stuff that you would see at a typical open house presentation. But before that, I want to give you a little bit of the how the sausage is made behind the scenes look. So you just saw what students see. But this is what my room actually looks like right now, and it is strangely organized pandemonium. There is my laptop that I am staring at right now. There is the homemade contraption that I put together so I wouldn't accidentally knock my laptop off the back of this crazy desk. There is the bell schedule because I'm still not used to the URL bell schedule. There is my second device so that I can check the waiting room and the lobby and all of those things that are happening during class while most of it happens on my laptop. There are the books that keep that surface at the same level as the teacher desk because the student desk is a few inches lower, so there's a stack of books there. There are also 8,000 wires coming off of this area and going over to the outlet, but really, it works. I have clipboards all over the place. I have Post-it notes just in every possible location. But we've kind of figured out a way to make this work. So that is good, even if it looks a little crazy. Sometimes that's how people describe me as well. So a little bit about me. This is my email address, kennedye@fultonschools.org for Kennedy Emily at Fulton Schools. I got my degree in math from Georgia Tech. And then some of you have older children, and you've heard this joke before at open house, but I always say that after I graduated from Tech, I went to a different school, and it's located in Athens, Georgia, but we don't really like to talk about that. So, but I went somewhere else in Georgia. I've finished 14 years of teaching. This is year 15, and I've been at RHS for 5 full years, so this is year 6 and still going strong. Alrighty, so down to the nuts and bolts. The grading this semester, I've emailed you guys about this, and it's odd, but it is intended to give some grace to students who have, just stuff going on right now. So I think I said in my email to you a while ago that if you know some teacher lingo, you might recognize that we're maybe not using the words formative and summative the way they were intended. And so you can just think of it as formative grades are just informative. They don't count towards a semester grade. And so for that, that's homework, quiz reviews, test reviews, but I am going to point out why those are still important assignments. Summative grades, again, maybe not the way we're supposed to be using that word, but summative grades, every course got to choose 12 assignments that they wanted to count as the semester grade. And so for geometry, we have 4 units per semester. And so we have a quiz for each unit, 6% for each of those, a test for each unit, 10% for each of those, a performance task, and then another performance task, each worth 10%. And actually, we started the very first one of these today. So I'm recording this Wednesday, but we'll start this in class on Thursday. And so we're doing a kaleidoscope project where students can show what they understand from Unit 1, even beyond what they did on the test. And we'll do another kind of similar project type of thing later this semester. Towards the end of the semester, we'll start reviewing for the final exam, and all of that review material is going to be worth 6% of their semester grade, and then the final exam itself is going to be worth 10%. So I mentioned earlier that even though homework goes into the gradebook as a formative grade and therefore counts as 0% of their grade, I always show this slide even when homework does count, because whether homework counts towards your grade or not, homework affects your grade for sure. And so this data is from, I think, 2 years ago with my various geometry classes all squished together. And so on the right-hand side, those are the students who did at least 80% of their quiz reviews and test reviews. I didn't go down to the granular detail of every homework assignment, but just quiz reviews and test reviews, at least 80% complete for the entire semester. You will notice that, about 60% of those students ended up with A's. The rest of them ended up with B's and then some C's, but none of those students failed. Those students who completed those assignments did better in the class, because homework is not just busy work for them to just have something to do at night and make them sad. Homework is there to give them the practice. And so the more you practice at anything, the better you get. On the other extreme, the far left side, those are the students who just kind of didn't do most of their quiz and test reviews. So completion average below 60%. And you'll notice that 40% of those students unfortunately ended up with Fs for their semester grade. Some of them passed, some of them even made Bs. But this graph, I hope, gets across the idea that the more you do homework, the more you're going to understand the material. And I think that that's kind of intuitive and obvious, but when it's in such stark terms as it is in this chart, I think that can help students kind of see the benefit there. So even though homework does not count, homework definitely matters. The recovery policy is just a tiny bit different this year. It's actually fairly similar to what we've been doing in geometry for a few years. So for quizzes, we automatically replace a student's quiz grade with their unit test grade, assuming they do better on the test. Typically they do. So if they end up with a 100 on the test, then their quiz grade also becomes a 100. This is a little bit nicer than the official Fulton policy, especially the fact that it's automatic. This is because in geometry, sometimes just it takes some things longer to click. So I like for students to think of quizzes as kind of low stakes, check-ins, let's see what you've got, and then learn from any mistakes that you made and let it click by the time you take the test. The test recovery is more in line with the official Fulton policy. A student who makes below a 70 on a test can bring it up to a maximum of 70. The first thing they would do would be test corrections, and I'll talk them through the process for that if a student becomes eligible and doesn't pass a test. And that'll add 10 points up to that maximum of 70. Most of the time, students are then happy with their grade and all is well. But if they're still not happy with their grade, they can do a retake. And this semester, they actually get a third thing as well. And so if they do the test corrections and they're not happy with their grade, and they do the test retake and they're still not happy with their grade, then we'll just talk one-on-one and come up with a good third option that we think is a good fit for that student. And if a student does test recovery, so maybe they made a 60 on the test the first time, but they bring it up to a 70, that 70 will replace the quiz grade. So again, all of that quiz stuff is just automatic for students. Some extra resources. My office hours, I'll be honest, I haven't had too many geometry visitors during office hours, but every day, 2 o'clock to 3:30, unless I have another meeting. And maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, I have an afternoon meeting for half an hour or so. But typically there's a full 90 minutes of office hours. And they can access that through Teams. There's just an office hours channel with a link that they click on. There are also some web resources on the class website. Then for digital platforms, just so you're aware, I've mentioned the class website there again at the end, but I want things to be simple for you and for students. And so if it can't be done in Teams or OneNote, we don't do it. So I'm not going to send students to 8,000 different places to make sure that they, a quizzes and a Quizlet and a loop-de-doo and a hooty-ha, just Teams, OneNote, it all works the same. The class website is really more for parents because all of that material is accessible to students through Teams and OneNote. And then with any questions, again, I'm super sorry that I can't be there, but please, please, please don't hesitate to email me, kennedye@fultonschools.org, with any questions that you have about open house or just about anything. And again, I'm sorry that I can't be there. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I think I went a little over my 10 minutes and I apologize for that as well. But I hope you have a great night, and I'm really enjoying getting to know your kids. And I'm looking forward to seeing some faces next week as well.